Wow. There's a lot of room for improvement on the city website. And you can go to other municipality websites just to see that. There are some enhancements. I'm not saying that the city website is unusable. There are other enhancements that we could add on. And this is something that I've been using in my office for the past 10 years. It's an accessibility of the general public and of the people of Norwalk to be able to navigate the system that we have, to be able to have the meeting minutes, to be able to have up-to-the-minute permitting processes available to the customer base so that they can put in their tracking number to find out whether their permit is in the hands of one department or another, who has signed off on it, who hasn't. A way of obtaining beach stickers, a way of getting a birth certificate, a way of getting your dog license. People's lives revolve around the computer. They revolve around their little handheld devices, and they access their bank account from home now. They access the grocery store now online, and it gets delivered to the house. We need to be open to every single facet of a way of enhancing our website so that it's user-friendly to everyone in the city and also accessible to all of those. Again, going to the library and using it, but we need to use it as a communication device more so now than ever to communicate with the citizens of Norwalk, making their life a little easier as well.
Thank you. Mr. Moccia?
Well, we upgraded our website a couple of years ago, and I believe all department heads were asked for their input, so I assume you gave some. And every website can be improved. We learn it on a daily basis. I actually wanted to put my Facebook on there, but they said I couldn't do it. So, and trust me when I tell you, I'm not up until all the Facebook and Twittering and everything. So, but seriously speaking, the website has improved. The links are better. We continually make improvement. We've had public come in and ask for improvements. Karen Delvecchio, our IT department, reviews those and continues to make improvements in it. No website is ever perfect. I've gone to websites of other cities that have some beautiful graphics on it, maybe a little better looking than us, but are very difficult to navigate. You can receive an awful lot, and as soon as possible. I mean, we have hundreds of meetings a month here with tons, hundreds of pages of minutes. It takes a little while to input that into the computer. We do the best we can on that. So our graphics may not be as bright as some other cities, but I will tell you something, the information is pretty good on that computer.
Any other comments?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that the Facebook, when networking at the town clerk's conference, we did talk about a town clerk statewide and also municipal Facebook page, and also possibly into the registrar's office. You'll register to vote, you'll get a little note, a little message come a week before the election to say, hey, don't forget it's election day. The newer generation is using technology to their advantage, and it's part of their life. They're pretty much connected to it. We need to tap into that. We need to make sure that we are on the heels of this technology at all times.
Any other comments?
Well, I don't want to be on the heel. I'd rather be on the toes, but other than that,
Gentlemen, I'm going to try to do 2 more questions before closing statements.
I think we're both going to get sleeping bags
All right,
pretty soon.
we'll move through. Mr. Moccia,
Yes.
do you support a requirement that Norwalk deals with companies and contractors only who pay their employees a living wage?
Actually, we have the ordinance on the books, a living wage ordinance, and I support that, and we advise the employers. Here's the difficulty, and I've talked to unions about this. We have hundreds of companies that do business with the city that employ thousands of people. It would be almost an impossibility to have someone to go in and check every employee's pay stub. We believe that if people feel that is not happening, they have to report it to us so we can audit it. The prevailing labor rate is on the books. The companies that we do business with are aware of it. If we buy graphic equipment from a company in New Jersey and they hire a company to deliver the equipment and the delivery company hires drivers, are they paying them $11 an hour? Are they paying them $9 an hour? How do we track that down? What we need is, and I've talked to some of the unions on this, is that If they uncover or they have information, then they should let us know, we can investigate. But in the meantime, we have the prevailing labor rate, and if we find out it's being violated, we, of course, would stop doing business with the company.
Thank you. Mr. Garfunkel?
The living wage ordinance and the prevailing labor rate must be upheld, period. And again, anytime we would find anyone not upholding that standard, we will take them accountable to them.
Thank you. The final question, Mr. Garfunkel first. What aspects of Norwalk have been most neglected? How will you address those deficiencies?
Well, as I'm out speaking with neighborhood folks in the last several months, most people step outside their front door and say, look what's in front of me. Either I can't navigate past my driveway, or I can't walk on a sidewalk that has a pole in it. This is one of the top issues that face Norwalk right now, as far as I see as an deficiency. We're not taking care of our infrastructure the best that we can. We've sent street sweepers out to clean the streets on West Avenue during the middle of the day. Now we have parked cars out there. It's not efficient that we would street sweep during the middle of the day. We need to schedule some of these things. We need to manage ourselves a little bit better to do an upkeep of our infrastructure, whether it is cleaning the sidewalks, whether it is changing the lights in the street lights, whether it is cleaning the streets, emptying out the sewers, picking up the trash. We need to make these city functions more efficient and start back from the beginning and look at the scheduling of this in each of the departments that handle these things, and make them work better for the constituents of Norwalk.
Thank you. Mr. Moccia?
Can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. What aspects of Norwalk have been most neglected? How will you address these deficiencies?
Well, as the incumbent, you have to answer the question in saying, I've neglected something. It's kind of a broad question. Look, as far as infrastructure goes, we've allocated I've said this, $14 million for road paving, hundreds of thousands of dollars for side repairs. I hired the first person ever in Norwalk to be a part-time litter enforcement officer to enforce littering ordinances and put people on notice if they continue to litter or put plastic bags out. As far as street sweeping, you get into the issue of overtime if you start having them go at 2 o'clock in the morning. There's other, and trust me, when I've gotten the calls when we did do that, why is the street sweeper coming by my house at 2 o'clock in the morning and waking me up? And so it's easy to say we should do all these things better. We have tried to do better. No city is perfect. There are some blighted areas I'd like to see cleaned up. We have zoning enforcement. We currently have 170 cases in court with some form of health violation, litter violation, zoning violation. We have one zoning lawyer. The courts take forever to get enforcement, cease and desist, and fines. The state legislature, in their infinite wisdom, decided they still do not want to have a land use docket in the courts similar to housing and domestic violence, where zoning and health issues would receive priority aside from the separate civil docket in Stanford. Those are the kinds of issues that we face every day. As chairman of the subcommittee for land use for the Connecticut Conference of Mayors, I proposed that legislation for the last 4 years. The legislators have taken, and it wouldn't ask any cost to the state, because how much money are we tying up to civil courts now with clerks and judges hearing these cases for 3 and 4 years? So the answer is we'll continue to do what we can and continue to work on those blighted areas.
Thank you. Any other comments?